Hi, welcome to Best in Tesla and the new show Overflow episode 30. We are getting more and more evidence that Tesla sales are rising back up again, just as predicted. And Goldman Sachs made a chart showing how they predict Robo-taxi fleet rising over the next decade in China. And Tesla's VP of AI and Optimus Engineering, Milan Kovac, announced his departure from the company. And Tesla has made the list of autonomous vehicle operator in Austin's official Department of Motor Vehicles. And Tesla teased a new experience coming soon. And Tesla is apparently also preparing to launch full self-driving supervised in South Korea. And Google's CEO and competitor to Tesla's Robo-taxis says that he has no doubt that Elon will of course succeed with Robo-taxis. All of this and much more in today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We are getting more and more evidence that Tesla sales are rising back up again, just as predicted. We are starting to really see the sales of Tesla's cars is on the rise again, as I have been predicting it would. As the biggest part of Tesla's drop in sales is no doubt the Tesla's refreshed Model Y and having to shut down all factories' Model Y's production line all at once, which stands for 65% of Tesla's sales. That this correlate with Elon getting into politics and mainstream media giving it all the blame for Tesla's drop in sales has just been ridiculous from the beginning. Just like people were screaming about Elon buying Twitter, and now Elon was distracted and that would be hurting Tesla. Is anyone really thinking about that anymore? No, that was also just noise that passed. Or when Elon tweeted that he would take Tesla private in 2018, a lot of noise came from that and fines for Tesla and Elon Musk, but that has also passed. Or when Elon started XAI 2 years ago, that he again was distracted from Tesla and didn't even want to be a Tesla anymore, and it was all about AI and going to Mars. So looking back, it's quite easy to see that it was all just noise and Tesla just kept executing. So that is why I always try to do my own research and come up with my own ideas of what is happening and why. As we knew all the way back in 2024 that Q1 2025 would be a tough quarter for Tesla because of the shift to the Model Y. If you recall, I said Tesla could lose something like 100,000 units in sales because of this shift. And in Q1, they only lost about 50,000 units, and in Q2, they might lose something similar. So we might end up with something like that 100,000 units in loss. But I didn't say that because of Elon's politics. That was all because of the refreshed Model Y. So nothing in the numbers that I have seen so far has been a huge surprise, and there is still nothing that has made me believe otherwise, because those of us that follows the company closely knows why April sales were down compared to March, even though mainstream media would like to tell everyone that this was because of Elon's politics. But this is a yearly thing. This is Tesla's export month. So this might have seemed like a bad thing for people that don't really understand Tesla and their export and production cycles. But this only shows me that they are running business as usual, just with less supply available. And last week we saw the Tesla UK saying they see huge demand and the next wave of Model Ys are coming here in June. And now Tesla has also shared that Tesla is the top brand of private vehicles registrations in Hong Kong in May. So I'm not trying to cherry pick numbers here. I'm just trying to look for evidence that the ramp and sales of the new refreshed Model Y is on track. Because if we don't see sales rising in May and June and onwards, then I will start to worry about Tesla's automotive sales. And in Hong Kong, we can see that Tesla is doing extremely well again, with 30% of the entire Hong Kong market, not just BEV, but the entire market. 74.4% of the market is electric, and Tesla has just over 40% of the BEV market. And Tesla sales are up 114% compared to the same period last year. So not just ramping up to past levels before the retooling of the Model Y line, but doubling its sales. And in the most competitive car market on the planet, as Tesla wrote on their post reposting Sawyer's post about Tesla's Model Y sales in China, where Tesla's Model Y reclaimed the #1 best-selling SUV crown in China in May. So not BEVs, but just the best-selling SUV on the biggest and most competitive car market on the planet. In 2025, so from June to May, Tesla sold just above 126,000 Model Ys in China, while BYD's Song Plus sold 110,000 and BYD Song Pro took third place with just over 80,000 units. Interestingly, all three SUV sales in the first 5 months of the year were down about 20% year over year. So not just Tesla, but Tesla is of course down more as the Shanghai factory is Tesla's biggest export hub. So there will also be some huge wave in Tesla sales in China, as they have been exporting a lot of cars that we are now seeing pop up all over the world. So even though Tesla took the crown of the best-selling SUV in the most competitive car market on the planet, Tesla sales in China in May were down 30% year over year to 38,000 units. In 2025 so far, from January to May, Tesla sold just over 200,000 units in China, down 7.8% from the same period last year. In the last 5 months, Tesla experienced a year-over-year decline in 4 of those months, which of course was expected because of the refreshed Model Y. But like I've said before, I think this is very impressive that what Tesla has done in China. Not losing more than this is just perfect execution of this retooling of the factory. And we can also see that in Europe, with these 5 countries that we have daily sales data available from, so the only 5 countries that we have all the data from so far, you can see it is happening exactly as I predicted. April is down because of it being an export month, but I said Tesla would rise from here, and what do you know? Tesla went from being second last in April to now being #1 in June. It's almost like you can ignore all the noise and just follow the numbers and know Tesla's wave cycles of export and sales and production. You can almost predict this outcome of the changeover to the new refreshed Model Y and the impact it would have. So let's keep an eye on the numbers, as I suspect they will only become better and better over the next few months. And the haters will become very quiet again, as all their prediction has not come true, as they usually never do, as they don't look at the trend lines, but just follow the headlines. And Goldman Sachs made this chart showing how they predict the Robo-taxi fleet rise over the next decade in China. And they have Pony AI as the big winner and Baidu as a much smaller player. I don't quite understand the reasoning for this, as both Baidu and Pony AI use the same kind of technology like Waymo, so with LiDAR and pre-mapped areas. So the only thing I could see in Goldman Sachs' reasoning is because of Pony AI's financials. But Baidu is partnering up with a lot more local Chinese car companies to supply the cars for their robotaxis, whereas Pony AI so far rely on Toyota's BZ4X, one of the least efficient EV on the market, especially in cold weather, as we saw in a range test done in Norway when it came out, where the BZ4X lost about 50% of its range. But anyway, relying on Toyota for BEVs is probably not the one I will be betting on to get to scale the fastest, as Toyota is aiming for 1 million BEVs in 2030, whereas Baidu is partnering up with both Xpeng, Geely and BYD, and they are already producing millions of EVs combined. So I don't understand why Goldman Sachs thinks Pony AI would be so much better than Baidu to scale. If you know why, this is the case, don't hesitate to educate us all in the comments below. But another thing I don't agree with this chart is the deployment. Goldman Sachs think that there will only be less than 500,000 robotaxis in China by 2030. I believe Tesla will have more than that in China by themselves in 2030. As we know, Tesla is launching robotaxis in Austin next week. But people seem to forget that this is a general solution, as we have also seen in China with supervised full self-driving, that it also works extremely well over there. So it will only be a question about regulatory approval. And Tesla is liked in China both by the people and the government. So I can't see why Tesla should not get approval for robotaxis over the next 5 years. And at that point, Tesla will no doubt have the Cybercab production up and running at full scale in the US and probably also in China. So Tesla could easily, within a year, deploy 500,000 robotaxis by themselves at that point. So I don't think Goldman Sachs really understand the scale and pace of Tesla's robotaxi deployment compared to companies like Pony AI, Baidu and Waymo for that matter. Because people tend to forget that if Waymo's technology was so great, why do they only have 1,500 vehicles on the road after 7 years of testing and running robotaxis on the road in the US? Because, as I have said a million times, their robotaxi fleet, both in terms of production and pre-mapping, is not made to scale fast. So when I look at this chart from Goldman Sachs, I think they could be right on the scale and the amount, but that does not include Tesla. I am willing to bet that Tesla will have at least 500,000 robotaxis on the street in China by the end of 2030 by themselves. But let's see when Tesla will get approval to run a robotaxi fleet in China. We of course never know what the Chinese government will do, but I doubt they will delay the deployment of robotaxis as they want to be the leaders in autonomous vehicles and not be lagging behind, just like we have seen the EU Commission being out saying that their highest priority is to get full self-driving tech developed in Europe. But let's see how it all plays out. And Tesla's VP of AI and Optimus Engineering, Milan Kovac, announced his departure from the company this week. And before everyone starts screaming that this is Elon's fault and because nobody wants to work for him, let's just see what Milan himself had to say about it. As he wrote, over the past 9+ years, I've had the immense privilege to work with some of the most brilliant minds in AI and engineering. I've built friendship that will last a lifetime. This week, I had to make the most difficult decision of my life and will be moving out of my position. I've been far away from my home for far too long and will need to spend more time with family abroad. I want to make it clear that this is the only reason and has absolutely nothing to do with anything else. My support for Elon Musk and the team is ironclad. Tesla team forever. And as he ends off in his post, most importantly, I want to thank Elon Musk from the bottom of my heart for his trust and teaching over the decade we worked together. Elon, you taught me to discern signal from noise, hardcore resilience, and many fundamental principles of engineering. I am forever grateful. Tesla will win. I guarantee you that. And Elon wrote back, Milan, thank you for your outstanding contribution to Tesla over the past decade. It was an honor working with you. Enjoy the time with family. So, who will take over for Milan? Well, that is, of course, As Hock, who is now the head of both Tesla's full self-driving team and Optimus. So the team is still in very good and capable hands. But thanks for all the hard work, Milan, and enjoy your time with your family. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. Elon wrote on X, we are building both macOS and Windows apps, can't live in the browser forever. So Grok is coming, to your Mac or Windows as an app instead of just being in the browser. Very nice. And Tesla has been listed as an autonomous vehicle operator on Austin's official Department of Motor Vehicles, ahead of the company's expected launch of the long-awaited service sometime this month. The news, which ex-user Tesla Yoda first spotted, predicted some reports suggesting that Robo-taxi service could launch in the coming days, and it comes as the city becomes an increasingly competitive stomping ground for the emerging technology. And rumor has it that Tesla will launch the Robo-taxi next week. Can't wait. But Tesla is apparently also preparing to launch full self-driving supervised in South Korea, as Tesla is expanding its domestic workforce. It is interpreted that the company is recruiting people from the government as well as cybersecurity and insurance experts to ease related regulations and secure a technology base ahead of the domestic introduction of full self-driving. According to industry sources on the 5th, Tesla recently posted a job advertisement for the government official. Tesla explained, "We are looking for talent who will monitor the domestic, political, legislative, and regulatory environment, communicate directly with policymakers, and actively respond to current issues that affect Tesla's business growth." So we are seeing that Tesla is working on full self-driving in so many countries around the world simultaneously, because they have made a general solution. Like Tesla has said, slow at first, then all at once. And we did see a lot of protest in LA, where they also burned Waymo cars. I don't think this is something against Waymo or autonomous vehicles, but just violent protesters finding something to burn. So I don't think we have to worry about anything delaying Tesla's robotaxis in Austin. The protest is primarily centered around the opposition to Immigration and Customer Enforcement, or ICE. And Tesla shared Tesla Chan's post about a Plaid Model S leaving the much more expensive supercar Lamborghini in the dust in a drag race, and just reminded everyone that even though it can do that, it is still just also a very practical family sedan. Yes, I have said it many times and I gladly say it again. The ICE supercar is dead. Who wants to pay that much more for something a family sedan can beat on what it is supposed to be good at? And we, of course, hear all the time that Elon and Tesla will never succeed in making autonomous vehicles. But even the CEO of Google and a competitor to Tesla's robotaxis has no doubt that Elon will, of course, succeed.
They're obviously working on making Tesla self-driving too. I've just assumed it's a de facto that Elon would succeed in whatever he does. So, that is not something I question.
And Michael Dawn wrote on X, "Don't count out little VinFast just yet. EV deliveries were 36,330 in Q1 2025, up 296% from Q1 of 2024. Reminds me of Hyundai in the early days. So that is looking pretty optimistic, as we did see VinFast struggle a lot in the first couple of years, but seems to get some momentum. That is nice to see. I did get to experience the VinFast EV at the Fully Charged live show in San Diego back in October 2022 and thought it felt like a nice, decent EV. So let's keep an eye on them and see if they can get some more momentum. And if you think Tesla vision-based system can't see in heavy fog, well, Nick shared this video from China where Tesla's full self-driving navigates through some very thick fog. I really don't think people understand that Tesla's vision system sees better than us humans do. So if the weather gets so bad that Tesla's system can't drive, I think it's safe to say no one should be driving in weather like that anyway. And Tesla Singapore made a little teaser and wrote, "Stay tuned," and shared this blurred image of a Tesla car with the writings, "Coming soon, a new experience in the West." So that all sounds very interesting. Got no idea what this is, if that has anything to do with the more affordable versions or full self-driving supervised, but let's wait and see what they will reveal. And Tesla seemed to have got a new property just north of Gigafactory, Texas. As Tesla Archive wrote on X, Tesla requires warehouse 6 miles north of Gigafactory, Texas. No construction activity reported at the new site, no vehicle shipment observed from the new property, so let's see what this will turn into. And Michael Dawn also make this post on X. China's dominance in magnets is practically total. The West let China amass over 90% market share in rare earth permanent magnets, essential for electric vehicles, wind turbines, and increasingly robotics. Tesla's Optimus robot will need rare earth magnets sourced from China. Global automakers cannot produce EVs without them. Yes, China is sitting with a lot of cards on their hands when it comes to global dominance. With the chips in Taiwan, rare earth metals for magnets and batteries, China can basically make the whole world come to a standstill if they cut off the supply through all of that. And Stellantis is saying it is resurrecting its V8 Hemi motors for its Ram 1500 full-size pickup truck this summer. The badge will feature the Ram's head coming out of the Hemi engine that it's calling a symbol of protest after pushing EVs on people. As Stellantis said, everyone makes mistakes, but how you handle them defines you. Ram screwed up when we dropped the Hemi. We owned it and we fixed it. We are not just bringing back the legendary V8 engine. We are igniting an assertive product plan and expand the freedom of choice in powertrain for our customers. So, in other words, people don't really care for their EV offerings, so they will waste a lot of money on new ICE engines that will die off completely very fast over the next 5 to 10 years. I personally think this is a big mistake, but what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. Let's see what will happen with Stellantis over the next 5 to 10 years. That is all we have time for in this Overflow News Show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much for the support. But if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel or become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out as some extra perks like early access, ad-free versions of my videos, exclusive videos. So hit the members button or check out Patreon to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on X. I post pretty much all the news as it comes out and a lot more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. It is also possible to support the show without becoming a member or a patron. There is a donation option down below or on my website bestintesla.com. You can also become an executive producer and get news articles, exclusive videos, behind the scenes, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets also on bestintesla.com, or as simple as hitting the super like button. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.